Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Gopi Janvallabha Girivardhari Jai Gopi Janvallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Srinivas Prabhu. So today our topic is getting free from the clutches of Maya, right? First we need to establish what Maya is and what effect she has on our lives. So who or what is Maya? Is Maya the girl next door? Probably not. So Srila Prabhupada defines Maya as that which is not. Right? So in other words, illusory. That's what we're looking at. So Maya is actually divine energy. This is Krishna's energy, but she's illusory. So an illusion is when we misconceive one thing for another. Like if you had to look at this picture, what do you see? What do you see? You see a lady? Yeah? Anyone else? Don't look too much. How many of you see a lady? Put your hands up, please. How many of you see two ladies? If you look clearly, there are two ladies in that picture. One is an old lady. I'll see if I can get a little pointer thing going here. Yeah. So the old lady is here. You can see her nose, right? There's her mouth, her chin. And then if you look very clearly, there's a young lady. That's her hair. There's her eye and her chin. Right. Can you see the two ladies now? Right. So this is an optical illusion. Even with our material eye, we can't readily perceive what's happening in that picture. So I just need to put this laser thing off. Yeah, I think that's it. So basically in life, we see what we want to see, right? And our material senses don't allow us to perceive what is actually real. In Shastra, the analogy of a snake and a rope is used. Now we know that a snake is real. You see a snake, it's a fact, right? And so is a rope, right? But sometimes what happens is people mistaken the rope for the snake. Right, remember what Bulva Mangal did when he was going to the prostitute, when he was going up the building? He was actually holding on to snakes thinking they were ropes because he was so bewildered. He was in so much of lust that he wanted to be with the prostitute. But basically in this analogy, Srila Prabhupada explains how a rope is real and a snake is real. It's a fact. The impersonalists will say that this material world is actually false. But what Srila Prabhupada is trying to establish is we have the spiritual world, which we know is real, it's factual, and this material world is also real, it's factual. Right? The only thing is, it is illusory, but it is still Krishna's divine energy. Right. When we see everything separate to Krishna, then we are put in this illusion, thinking ourselves to be the enjoyer, thinking ourselves to be the proprietor of everything. So as we saw with the other picture with the lady, we can't even rely on our own eyes to see things in this material world. You know, how can we perceive things which are even greater? The reality is that we are all eternal fragmental parts of Lord Krishna. And Krishna says this in the Bhagavad Gita in 15:7. Maimavamsu jiva loka jiva bhuta sanatana manasastan indriyani prakriti-stani karitsati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. He's telling us we are part and parcel of him. Yeah. But the greater population is misidentifying themselves, thinking, I am this body. So this means that Maya has been allowed to enter into their lives. And she's in full force with her attack. That's Maya. Maya is very powerful. So with Maya's influence, there's an attraction to what is on the material platform, for example, money, property, gambling, intoxication, meat eating, and the list is endless. There's so much to enjoy, or so-called enjoy, in the material world. And in this way, the conditioned soul is becoming so bewildered trying to enjoy. But the reality is, all these material attractions, they are temporary. Yeah? Feels like nectar at the beginning, but actually poison at the end. It just wouldn't give us the permanent happiness that we're seeking. So this thinking is nicely, I'll just show you a picture first before we go on. Do I have it? Oh yes, there we go. So when we say Mami Vamsa Jiva Loka Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, Krishna is dancing. You have seen similarly, our position is simply dancing with Krishna and being happy. Yeah? That's our position. But we've come to this material world to enjoy independently of Krishna. You know how we're thinking we are the enjoyer, forgetting Bhaktaram Yagnatapasam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. He is the supreme proprietor. And therefore, without thinking now, with our conditioning, we have been captured by the illusory energy. And this is what happens to all of us. You know, we're born. And it's welcome to earth, buddy. Right? Welcome to earth, buddy. Glad you're here. Now let's assign you to an identification number and get you into debt somehow. We come with nothing, right? But from the time we're born, we're conditioned. Straight away, it's a boy, it's a girl. The conditioning has started. The misidentification has started. So, being bewildered by everything that this material world brings, one moves away from Lord Krishna. Every step towards that materialism is many steps away from Krishna. Right, I had another shlok. Sorry, I'm going too far. Right. So when we look at this thinking, we're going to go to the story of Gajendra. You know Gajendra, everyone knows the story of Gajendra and the crocodile, commonly told, right? So Gajendra was the king of the elephants. And together with his friends and his family, they went into the Trikut mountain forest, really deep, where it was very beautiful, crystal clear water, beautiful lush greenery, and it was a very vast area, like 129,000 kilometers. Gajendra was very well respected. He had a very good reputation. He was a very loved king. And he had all the pleasures an elephant could possibly want. So one day they went to the lake, just like how we may decide to go, oh, let's go to the movies or go to the beach. So they went to the lake. And he invited his wives, his children, and his friends to come along with him. And they all enjoyed. And with great endeavor, Gajendra was spraying water on his family and his friends and thinking, oh, it's so nice watching them all enjoy so nicely. It doesn't matter that I'm having to work so hard. It doesn't matter about all those aches and pains that I have to endure, right? But what they did not realize was deep in that river was a crocodile, right? They were actually disturbing the inhabitants of that lake. And then suddenly that crocodile attacked Gajendra. So now Gajendra's leg was in the jaws of that crocodile. So here was Gajendra, the really strong elephant. When he walked, he could trample down all the thickets, all the creepers, right? He could push down trees so easily. He was such a loved and respected elephant in his herd. He was the strongest. But now he was helpless. He realized no matter how much he was trying, he couldn't get out from these jaws of the crocodile. And that crocodile was just sinking its teeth deeper and deeper into Gajendra's leg, right? So his wives felt sorry for him, but they were helpless. They couldn't do anything for him. Now let's pause here a little bit and just see the relevance in our lives, right? Worldwide, we hear that people are suffering. We too are suffering. Sometimes we acknowledge it and sometimes we don't. And in Shastra, it's explained that there are 3 types of miseries that we endure. One is adhyatmic, which is miseries that arise from our body, our mind. Then there's adhibhautik, which arises from, like the way Gajendra is, from other living entities, right? And then there's adhidevic, which is like the natural disasters, like your earthquakes, volcanoes. So we're all subjected to all of that. Being in the material world means we can't escape these miseries. It's part of the package deal of being in this material world. So even though we are in this material world, and we know that it's not a permanent place, still there is so much of endeavor, so much endeavor to be the greatest materially. People are making so many plans, so much of endeavor to be the richest, to be the most famous, the strongest, right? And so many material adjustments are being made just to get comfortable. Just like how a fish cannot be comfortable on land, we cannot be permanently comfortable in the material world because it is not our place of residence. Our place is in Golaka Vrindavan. So being under the spell of Maya, we are attracted to seek out all this material opulence and all the sense gratification. And then what do we think? I'm the greatest. You know, like this cat looking in the mirror, right? He sees himself as something else. And in this way, all that pride and arrogance just get greater and greater, which means we're getting further and further entangled in Maya. And Krishna says very nicely in Bhagavad Gita in 244, Bhogashvarya prasaktanam taya parita chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhi samadhuna vidiyati. So in the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination of devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. So remember, as we get more into Maya, it means we're getting further away from Krishna. So we become so entangled, forgetting Krishna and getting more entangled in Maya. It's like watching a movie. You know, the lights go out, right? It's all in darkness. Now you're totally focusing on that screen. And then you start relating with the characters in the movie. You cry, you laugh, right? And then if the good ones are winning, we're happy. If they die, we're sad. And we're kind of relating, we're interchanging with what's going on. So just like this in this material world, we become so entangled that we think, it's part of us. But it's all just an illusion. Right? All we're doing is we're getting more trapped in this materialism, in this sense gratification. And Srila Prabhupada calls it the fool's happiness, because this is temporary happiness. So the material attachments are just like the crocodile's teeth. Sometimes there's happiness. You know, we do have happiness in this world, right? And then sometimes there's sadness. But both the happiness and the sadness are temporary. The basic thing is, being entangled in Maya means we're not getting out of those jaws, like Ajendra's leg was stuck in those jaws of the crocodile. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, first have a look at this picture here. You know, here we are really wanting to go for Maya. And then Krishna is like, come on my side. But for us, the attraction is so great. We want to be with Maya. So Krishna explains very nicely in 7:14 in Bhagavad Gita, Devi esha gunamaya mamma maya duratyaya. He says this divine energy of mind consisting of the 3 modes of material nature is difficult to overcome. He's telling us that, right? But people are enjoying so much in the material world that they think it's quite okay. It's fine to live in this material world. So I'll tell you a little story about this camel, right? So it was once a very, very cold night, and the Arab was in his tent, and the heating in the tent was really, really good. But his camel was freezing outside, and he thought, I want to enjoy the same. I want to be there. So he said, oh, master, can I just put my nose in your tent? And the master said, oh, okay. I mean, there's no harm in that. You know, you can put your nose in the tent. And then after a while, the camel goes, oh, my eyes are feeling so cold. Please, can I come in? And the master said, okay, we'll let your eyes come in. And then you get the gist, right? Before you know it, the camel was occupying the tent and the master had to move out. So, similarly, Maya works like this in our life, right? Srila Prabhupada says, don't give Maya an inch. You give her an inch and she takes over your life. She's very sneaky, right? She very sneakily enters our life. And once she enters, it's really hard to get rid of Maya. So that's our first lesson today. You all remember that? What's the first one? Don't give Maya an inch. That's really good. Okay, now we're going to go back to our story with Gajendra. Right? So last we spoke about how his leg is in the jaws of the crocodile. And Gajendra now is becoming very weak. This whole fight took place over 1,000 years, right? And then Gajendra being in water was actually even weaker. The crocodile had his own natural environment, so he was like, I'm okay, I'm comfortable here. But Gajendra was out of that. Now, Gajendra, as I said before, was powerful. He had a good reputation. He was so respected. And now suddenly he's in this helpless condition. He's trapped in the jaws. He can't do anything. And you know, all the people that he was caring for, his wife, his friends, his family, nobody could help him. He was here on his own in a totally, totally helpless condition. And then he realized these jaws are not going to open up. I'm going to be in this situation, it seems like forever. What do I do? Right? And it was in this state of him having the helplessness and the fear that he remembered a mantra that he had recited in his last lifetime. And when he recited that mantra with total love and devotion to Lord Vishnu and offered Lord Vishnu a flower, Lord Vishnu appears before him. Srila Prabhupada explains how, in the Bhagavad Gita, we did this shlok earlier, right? Taivyesha gunamaya mama maya duratyaya mamiva ye prapadyante mayam itam tarantite. So, the formula for freedom is given in the last two lines there, right? Would somebody like to read the translation there, please? Vishnupriya, please, Mataji. Beyond it. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, so for those that didn't hear, this divine energy of mind consisting of the three modes of material nature is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Right? So you find this is the state that Gajendra was in a state of surrender to the Lord. Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport of 832 in Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Sri Radha Govinda Bhagwani ki jai, Laddu Bhagopad ki jai, Sri Sri Sitaram Lakshman Hanumani ki jai, Sri Sri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport of Srimad Bhagavatam 832 how that we should never forget the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Right, so Gajendra remembered a stotra from his last lifetime. For us, all we got to remember is this easy mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And when we remember this mantra, it's going to actually save us from the greatest danger. Yeah? What do you think the greatest danger is? What's that greatest danger that we're going to be saved from? Death? Yes. So we're going to be saved from, we have to die, right? This material body is going to go one day. But the soul never dies. But where the soul goes after death is what's important. So the greatest danger is actually slipping into the lower species of life, or going into the hellish planets, you know. We could be living all nicely now, thinking, oh yeah, I am trying to do my service, or I'm doing 5%, 95% is everything related to Maya. Are we assured of having a human birth? Maybe, right? So, but if we're not doing anything, we definitely will be going into the lower species of life. When you find people are enjoying intoxication, gambling, meat eating, right? If somebody likes the meat so much, then they need to get an animal body. They need to get a body that will help them to enjoy that meat. Our body is not designed to have meat. Yeah, that's just as a by the way. Okay. So Srila Prabhupada says, chanting puts us in direct contact with the Supreme Lord. So in every situation, we find that Krishna is always there to help us. Sometimes we feel alone, like there's no one else there for us. Yeah? It may be due to mental issues. It may be due to physical issues. It may be due to financial issues, family issues, and the list goes on in the material world. But we must always remember that Krishna is always with us. He is situated in the core of our hearts. Sarvasya chaham hirdi sanivisto. Krishna is seated in the heart of every living entity. Yeah? So never forget that. So our second main lesson for tonight is Krishna is our constant companion, even in the darkest of times. You know, sometimes friends are with us when things are going well, right? But when things don't go well, are those friends still with you? That's a big test. Krishna, however, is with us through our good times and bad times. He's always there. He's waiting for us to turn to him. Yeah? So no matter what we do, no matter what we have done, remember Krishna loves us. He loves us, and he'll never leave us. In fact, it is said that Krishna is more eager to have us come back to him than we are eager to go, because we're so busy in this material world. So, our ever well-wisher, Siridam Sarva Bhutanama, always wanting to be with us. So in Srimad Bhagavatam in 7.9.19, Prahlad Maharaj says, my Lord Nrsimhadev, O Supreme, because of a bodily conception of life, embodied souls neglected and not cared for by you cannot do anything for their betterment. Whatever remedies they accept, although perhaps temporarily beneficial, are certainly impermanent. For example, a father and mother cannot protect their child. A physician and medicine cannot relieve a suffering patient. And a boat on the ocean cannot protect a drowning man. So this is where we try to make so many adjustments to fit in this world and try to make our lives comfortable. But we cannot find that total solution where we would be permanently happy. Yeah? In that same shlok, it says, seek not the protection of one of this world, because we know everything is temporary, right? But seek the protection of the one beyond and behind this world. And who is that? Lord Sri Krishna. Right. So our key thing is, and this is our third lesson today, always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna, through our good times and bad times. Right? Very often through our not so good times or bad times, it's easy to remember Krishna. Right? And sometimes people blame Krishna for all that is happening, forgetting that it is all our doing, and that is why we are suffering like the way we do. But whatever happens, always remember Krishna. So when we go back to Gajendra, Gajendra saw the Lord approaching. Remember, he had told her this mantra from his last lifetime that he had learned. So the Lord was approaching, and he was offering him, Gajendra was offering him a lotus flower. He was offering this lotus flower with so much of love and devotion. Right? So here was Gajendra surrendering. My Lord, I have no one but you in my life. Only you can save me. Only you can save me. So Lord Krishna here in the form of Lord Vishnu with the Sudarshan chakra sent that chakra going to the point where it cut the crocodile's head. And in that way Gajendra was freed from the jaws of death. You know, just like us, sometimes we wonder, are we ever going to get freed from Maya? Right? And if we don't surrender to Krishna, we'll never get freed from Maya. So that formula earlier that we spoke about is, we've got to surrender to Krishna. Then only will Maya break loose her jaws on us, just like how the crocodile's jaws were set loose or released from Gajendra's leg. So to surrender means to humble ourselves. You know, Gajendra was He was respected, loved, you know, proud, in a good position. But he had to give all of that up, all those material designations. Sarvapadi, Vinir Mukta. He had to give all of those designations up just so that he could surrender to the Lord. In a proud, arrogant state, we cannot surrender because we're thinking, we're the greatest. So when you think about it, the Lord appeared before Gajendra, and Gajendra could have asked him for anything. He could have said, oh, my Lord, please put me back in that forest where I was enjoying so nicely with my friends and family. He could have said that, yeah. It's like that story of the old lady who was carrying this big load of wood on her head, and then she dropped it, right? And then she said, oh, my Lord, please, please come and help me. Help me, my Lord. And she said that with so much of desperation that the Lord appeared before her. He goes, what can I do for you? She says, please, put that wood back on my head. You know, she could have said, free me from this material world, take me away. But no, she had said, put that load of wood back on my head. So in other words, taking on again this material life, right? So Gajendra made the right choice. Gajendra had chosen to actually go with Lord Vishnu. Okay, so he went back to the Vaikuntha planets. He went through so much of misery, so much of suffering to reach the state where he had realized that the Lord is who we need to surrender to, right? In our state as we are, we can be in this material body and still be surrendered to the Lord. We don't have to leave our body to be surrendered. So in the state that we are, we surrender to Lord Krishna, right? Whatever we do, we dovetail to Lord Krishna. Yat karosi yadasnasi yajjahosi dadasiyat. Yat tapasyasya kontiyat tat kurusvamad arpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever penances and sacrifices you perform, do it, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. That's what Krishna says, right? So in this way, what are we doing? We would be modifying our lives such that we are using our senses not for sense gratification, but we're using it for self-realization. And that is a big step in our lives. That's moving us closer to Krishna. Right. So the relationship with Krishna is permanent. Right? We will never lose it. All we got to do is always remember this mantra. This mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This mantra encompasses every other mantra. We don't need to even chant any other mantra. This mantra is so powerful and it has been given to us by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You see, in this Kali Yuga, we are disadvantaged in a way in that our memory is not the greatest. You know, like we need notes when we listen to a lecture, or we have books to read. In previous ages, people didn't need to do that. Everything went straight in and stayed there, and they had full understanding. The Bhagavad Gita was recited to Arjuna in how many minutes? 45 minutes, that's right. So, in 45 minutes, the Bhagavad Gita was recited to Arjuna. We can spend years and we're still trying to understand the Bhagavad Gita. You know, it takes time. So you can see how advanced people were previously, right? So we have this Maha Mantra that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has so nicely given to us. It is such an easy mantra. Some people think, oh, it's too easy, so it can't be very potent. No, that's wrong. Every age had a mantra. This is the mantra for this age. And this holy name is Krishna himself. Kalikala Nama Rupe Krishna Avatar. Right? In the second verse of the Shikshastakam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Nam, Nam, everyone please recite as well. Today's an auspicious day, you know, so you get even more spiritual benefits. So if you can see that, I hope you can see it nicely. Let's all recite together, yeah? Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatra Pitanyamitaha Smarane Nakalaha Etadrishi Tava Kripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdeva Midrisham Miha Janina Nuragaha. So he says, oh my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names, like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. Remember that. Read that again. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. Oh my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names. But I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. Yeah? So if that's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying that, what is our position? So this is the fourth lesson, right? That there are no hard and fast rules to chanting the holy names of Lord Krishna. So merciful, eh? So we find, I was saying, this mantra is the mantra for this age. Kale dosha nidhi rajan asti eko mahan gunaha kirtanad eva krishnasya mukta sangha param vrajet. Says, my dear king, although Kali Yuga is full of faults, there is still one good quality about this age. Simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, one can become free from material bondage and be promoted to the transcendental kingdom. You see how powerful it is? Such an easy process. So in this age of Kali Yuga, we tend to find lots of excuses to not chant. So here the old lady is telling her husband, chant, chant, chant. And what is the husband saying? Can't, right? One letter difference, the H is missing, right? What excuses do we make for chanting? What excuses do we make? Anyone? Are we all perfect chanters here? Everyone's really good. You got to teach me. Any excuses for not chanting? Any barriers to not chanting?
We'll do it tomorrow.
Do it. Who said that? Very good. Yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. Does tomorrow ever come? Never comes, huh? Okay, thank you for that. Anybody else? Not enough time. Yeah. Time. Do we ever find more time eventually? So we got to make the time there and then, isn't it? So it means regulating our lives so that we can chant. Very often it's nice to chant in the early hours of the morning. Brahma Muhurta time is the best time for doing your chanting. 1.5 hours before the sun rises. Yeah? Any other excuses for not chanting? Too much work to do, got to take care of the family. Family is coming first. Yeah? What happened to Gajendra? Could his family help him at that time? Could his work help him at that time? No. We will all be in that helpless situation one day. All of us. We can't escape it. Right? In that helpless situation where not even the medical staff can help us. So we need to start developing our love for chanting from now, not later. Like today we were doing Harinam and book distribution, and I met a lady, a very lovely lady. She was very polite. She didn't want to take any books because she felt the family were handing down books to her. But she said it's not the right time for her to start reading. She says when the time is right, she will read. When is the time right? Do we know? Do we know how long we have to live? We don't. Anything can happen at any time. I can drop dead right here now. You know? Prahlad Maharaj said, start at a very early age, start in childhood. But even if we didn't have that chance, start as soon as possible. That is what's important. So big message is don't delay, start as soon as possible and keep up with it. Just keep getting stronger and stronger with it. The mind will always make excuses. But we got to stay fixed. We got to stay determined. If you really want something, you'll give up all those things that are keeping you away from it. Right? I'm not saying give up your friends and family and so on. We go back to that shlok with, Yat karosi, yadas nasi. Everything you do, dovetail to Krishna. You do it to the best that you can. You treat your family as devotees as well. You take good care of them. You cook nice prasadam for them because you got to offer to Lord Krishna first, right? I'm speaking to everyone. And then give your family to eat. In that way, you're taking good care of them. So you can still have that compassion and mercy. That's what's important. All right. So every little endeavor we make, Krishna is watching that. We get credit for it. In Bhagavad Gita 240, Krishna says, in this endeavor there is no loss or diminution. And a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Okay, so we chant, and yes, we go through some difficulties because it's hard pulling away from Maya. It is hard, right? And this is where we seek the blessings and the mercy of our acharyas. And today is a very auspicious day where we are actually glorifying two of those acharyas. One is Srila Gauridas Pandit and the other is Srila Rupa Goswami. So it's their disappearance day today. And sometimes people will say, but how is it that we are, celebrating them on a disappearance day? We got to understand that these days are known as mothers of devotion. We actually get more spiritual benefit on this day. Our spiritual life, it's like a little creeper, a devotional creeper, Bhakti Lata Beej. And at the moment, for most of us, it's still very delicate and it needs to be nourished. Just like how a little baby needs the nourishment of the mother. And it's on these special days that we get the nourishment and the strength even more, for this devotional creeper within our heart to get stronger so that we can go back home. We can go back to Lord Krishna. And it's also on these days that we glorify the acharyas, right? So they have done so much for us. They have given us so much. It's like, there you are, take it. It's for us to say, thank you, I will take it, right? So they leave with us a lot of teachings which we need to imbibe. Like when we look at Srila Rupa Goswami, we know that he has written many, many books as well. Srila Rupa Goswami is part of the 6 Goswamis. Let's recite this very nice prayer to the 6 Goswamis, right? So everybody together. Can you all see the screen nicely? And try it, right? To your best you can. Nana Shastra Vicharnika Nipuno Saddharma Samstapako Lokanam Hitekarino Tribhuvane Manyo Sharanyakaro Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajana Nandina Mataliko Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyugo Sri Jiva Gopalako. So we'll read the translation. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the 6 Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatt Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopal Bhatt Goswami, who are very expert in scrutinizingly studying all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. Thus they are honored all over the 3 worlds, and they are worth taking shelter of, because they are absorbed in the mood of the gopis and are engaged in the transcendental loving service of Radha and Krishna. The 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan ki jai. Okay, so Rupa Goswami and together with Sanatan Goswami, right, had followed the instructions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They were very, very dear to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had asked them to uncover Krishna's lost places of pastimes. He also asked them to install deities and to establish their worship, to write devotional literature, and to teach the rules of bhakti. So we know one of the famous books that Srila Rupa Goswami has written is the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, which Srila Prabhupada has summarized for us as the nectar of devotion. So a very nice book for us practicing devotees to all read. If you can get your hands on one, please do. And start reading and practicing from there as well. So by serving the lotus feet of the 6 Goswamis, all the obstacles from our spiritual path will be removed. They make it easier for us because they're so merciful, they're so compassionate. You know, and all our material desires, all our anathas will just be vanquished, because that's what we want, so that we can become pure in our service. So may Srila Rupa Goswami be merciful upon us, so that we can learn all the instructions he's given us, and so that we can perform devotional service purely. So now we're going to look at Srila Gauridas Pandit. Yeah, very nice picture, isn't it? So he was a very great devotee of Lord Chaitanya. Now just going back to Srila Rupa Goswami, in the spiritual world, he is Rupa Manjari, right? So he has a very special place there as a Manjari. And Gauridas Pandit is Subal in Krishna Lila. So you see how special they are, right? He's known as the emblem of the most elevated devotional service and love of Godhead. He had the greatest potency to receive and deliver such love. And he was so absorbed in his devotion to Sri Sri Gaura Nitai. Even in his old age, he was still cooking so much for them, to the point where they told him, they spoke to him, they said, you can stop doing this, And he took offense. He says, how can you ask me to stop doing it? This is what I love to do. And they say, in your old age, you don't have to do this, because they could understand his love for them. Right. So I just want to summarize. Okay, we had 4 lessons today. What were those lessons? A little louder, sir. Don't give an inch to Maya. Well done. Yes, that was our first lesson. Yes. Anything else we learned today? Sorry, Mataji. Krishna is our eternal friend. Yeah, no, right, that's good. He's our eternal, that's what I thought you said. Krishna is our eternal friend. That's right. He's our constant companion. He's always with us. Anything else? Very nice. Always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. In whatever we do, Krishna is everywhere, you know? Krishna is everywhere. And then, when we look at the chanting of the Maha Mantra, we know that this is the mantra that's going to deliver us, right? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So please chant this mantra. You know, we all have this free will. In conclusion, I'm just going to finish soon. We have free will to choose Maya, which is the material inferior energy, right? And we also have the free will to choose Krishna, the supreme energy. Srila Prabhupada gives a very nice example. He says the government is responsible for the prison department, and he's also responsible for the schooling department. In prison, you would find usually the less intelligent, badly behaved people. And in schools, you find the ones who are more educated, well-behaved, civilized, right? So similarly, Krishna is the supreme controller, and he is in charge of the material world ultimately, and he is in charge of the spiritual world. The choice is ours. We need to make the choice whether we want to stay in this material world. If we want, Krishna will actually, give us that opportunity. He'll make us come again and again, right? So we can choose that. I want to be born again, be a child, go to school, go to uni, have a family, have children, grandchildren, die. Okay? We can choose that. Or we can choose to be in Krishna. So basically, where do you want to be? So this picture says, what does he say? He says, it's April Fool's Day. Remember how I said Srila Prabhupada looks at this happiness we're having as the fool's happiness. So he says, who needs April Fool? Maya is fooling me every day. So let's chant Hare Krishna, then Maya cannot touch you. So once one is attracted by Krishna, the illusory energy of the world cannot attract him. That's from Srimad Bhagavatam 4:24-12. So let's make an effort. We got to make an effort. We got to try and get out of our comfort zone. Yes, obstacles will come in our way. But if we really want to have that relationship with Krishna that will take us to him eventually, then we got to make the decision to start chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra nicely, yeah, and following what Krishna and the Acharyas have set out for us. Okay, any reflections, any questions? Everyone's so quiet. Nothing? If anyone is interested to chant, please see the temple staff, right? I think, Prabhu, you've got some japamala, and they'll give you japamala and teach you how to chant. So take that step, please. Even if you chanted just one round a day, it'll take maximum 10 minutes of your time, and I think we can all spare that, yeah? Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your participation. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.